Judas sold Christ. Dreyfus sold France.
Has an idea for an article about how every few years the world goes mad, that entire nations lose their heads.
Your editor isn't as much of a fool as I thought.
He wanted me to ask you about the Dreyfus affair, about all those men like Picard and Zola, Esterhazy.
Ah, the Dreyfus affair. It's ancient history. It was nothing.
Nothing? France was completely torn apart for 10 years.
Well, the French, so ridiculously passionate about such little things. It was only a simple case of espionage. It was so amusing to watch them. The whole country should have entered a madhouse consumed with guilt. Spot of tea.
That's right. Well, here we are. What does Esterhazy feel about his part in it? Looking back, I wonder. Is there any remorse?
Remorse? My dear fellow, the whole thing was a comedy. A tragic comedy. Esterhazy needed money. None of this would have happened if his wife had had as much as she claimed before trapping him into marriage.
But the world was turned upside down. The French army never really recovered. It may have been one of the things that convinced Germany it could safely go to war. But all because Esterhazy chose the wrong wife.
You see, a comedy.
Captain Dreyfus, you are unworthy to bear arms. In the name of the people of France, we degrade you.
I'm innocent. I swear I am innocent. I love my country.
Fortunate the drum major had the presence of mind to strike up a band and drown him out. As if he hadn't disgraced the nation enough already.
Is there a single in the world that would have behaved differently?
No. Even if he's a traitor, he's still an army man. He should have had the presence of mind to take his punishment like a soldier and not like some hysterical dressmaker.
Dreyfus, hysterical dressmaker. That's very good, Picard. Very good indeed.
I mean, what did he look like? Jailed for life? And he acted like some Jewish tailor, counting the cost of the buttons as they were ripped off his uniform.
Soldiers of the French army, we're joining with the cavalry, fighting for increase, wiping out those filthy thieves. French when we must all unite to fight the with all our might. Citizens, it is your right to stamp these vermin out of sight. They can't talk right, na 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 na. They can't walk right, na 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 na. Can't roast roses, na 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 na. Can't smell roses, na 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 na.
The two candidates, Major Henri and Colonel Picard. Who do the military police recommend as a replacement for the late lamented Colonel Sonder?
Major Henri has been a damn good number 2 at counterintelligence for some years. You could simply promote him. He has experience and enthusiasm. He's pulled himself up by his own bootstraps, and he did a splendid job on the Dreyfus case.
That's a load of damn nonsense, and you know it. The counterintelligence section is an absolute shambles. And he caught Dreyfus by mistake. Had the German military attaché been more careful and not left incriminating documents in his wastepaper basket, we'd still have no idea that he had bought Dreyfus wholesale. What's needed is a good staff officer, even if he does come from the cavalry. Somebody that will ensure that counterintelligence dates and files its paperwork.
Does Picard want to go to counterintelligence?
He'll go wherever he's sent, and he'll make a success of it.
Picard, one of us.
When you get settled in, I want you to take a look at the Dreyfus file. Why did he do it? That never came out of the court-martial. Why, out of the blue, after 15 years in the army, does a model general staff officer sit down and write to the German military attaché, offering him that shopping list of information? Why?
No, it's hardly for love of the Germans, sir. He made that patently clear when he was my student.
Blackmail. Mistresses. No, he had a family life that was almost indecently moral. Little boys' buttons. He wouldn't know what to do with them. Why don't we know? What did we miss? Thank goodness I won't be around long enough to see too much fighting in the 20th century. Things have changed, Picard. No fun in being a soldier. Not anymore.
It's exactly what I said when they put me here, General. I'm a soldier, not a policeman.
Had to be done. Best man for the job. Major Henri angry at being passed over?
We managed to work together. I keep telling myself we're in the same army, after all.
Succeed here and your career's made. You can get anything you want. Even a war ministry.
Is it important to know why Dreyfus did it? After all, he is a Jew. You know what they're like.
Captain Dreyfus was not court-martialed for being a Jew.
No, of course not, sir. But perhaps it was a mistake to make one of them a general staff officer. I remember at military academy, he always tried too hard. Ask a question, he always answered first.
You can't despise a man for being clever.
What, for wanting everyone to know about it?
He's dead, as good as. On Devil's Island in solitary confinement. Put the case to rest for us. Bury him.
We have the book.
I was just a garrison soldier before this, but there were no opportunities for promotion. Once through here, Colonel, you're not a virgin anymore.
Ten years ago, without any warning, the army sent me to China. I had to start from scratch. knowing virtually nothing about the climate or the natives. Now they put me here in counterintelligence where I know even less.
An army is about getting men to blow other men to pieces. It's about reading other people's mail, blackmail, paying servants to spy on their masters. Up top, it's easy to forget. Not down here. There. The note Dreyfus sent to the German military attaché offering military secrets. And the sample of Dreyfus's handwriting we took after his arrest. The Dreyfus file.
They say that at the beginning, the court-martial seemed to be going Dreyfus' way. Then counterintelligence saw the judges in secret.
That's right.
And you told them that it didn't matter how flimsy the handwriting evidence was. You had incontrovertible proof that there was a traitor, and it was, in fact, Dreyfus.
Yes.
I expected to see such evidence in the file.
National security. Can't go leaving that sort of stuff around.
Well, the proof has to be somewhere.
The proof is Dreyfus was found guilty. Fair and square. All above board.
Is there any secret evidence?
Look, only half a dozen general staff officers had access to the information being offered and were also in Paris that week. Wasn't hard. Not when everyone else was a loyal Frenchman. What country does a Jew have, Where's his loyalty?
True enough. Age-old question. Still, shouldn't handwriting samples been taken from the other officers, just in case?
In case of what? We had him. Why bother?
No doubts. No second thoughts. Even with Dreyfus persisting in denying everything.
Well, he would, wouldn't he? If it wasn't the who was it?
Arise, children of the fatherland, for glory is ours by right. Hateful banners all raised against us, evil banners of tyranny. Do you hear the savage soldiers in the fields, killing our sons and our loved ones? We must take up arms, citizens. We're not safe with filthy around us. Destroy these filthy. Restore our honor and our gold, till not one more Jew traitor stands in France, our fatherland.
Tell me about this man that Dreyfus allegedly spies for.
The German military attaché, von Schwarzkoppen.
The German had, shall we say, some individual tastes, which enabled Picard to put a man on him, so to speak. And in a couple of months, there was another letter.
Dismissed.
Esterhazy.
Colonel Picard.
Thank you.
I have the honor, General Bardef, to report my assignment complete. No reason can be found for the treachery of Captain Dreyfus, because the traitor is, in fact, another man.
Army intelligence intercepted this postcard from the German military attaché. It was addressed to one of our general staff officers. Colonel Picard immediately sent for that officer's files, and in looking through them came across that officer's handwriting. It reminded him of the handwriting in the Dreyfus file. It turned out that that officer wrote the incriminating letter, not Captain Dreyfus. That officer's name is Major Count Ferdinand Wolson Esterhazy.
Esterhazy?
Esterhazy. He drinks, he gambles, he's no husband, and he tries to make up for all these faults by being a lousy officer, but that doesn't make him a traitor.
What about this handwriting? I mean, it's almost as good a match as that of Dreyfus.
Inconclusive at best. We can't arrest a general staff officer on the evidence of a scrap of paper.
That is exactly what happened to Dreyfus.
He was a Jew and a traitor.
So there was no real investigation.
Dreyfus covered us with excrement, begging your pardon, sir. Now, we got some of our respect back because we moved fast and we got our conviction. Open this up again, think how bad it makes the army look, not just counterintelligence.
I cannot ignore this.
Can you ignore the damage to the men down there? Any day now, we're going to be at war against the Prussians. That's what all this is about. Do you really want them asking questions? I say piss on anything that gets in the way of teaching these poor how to shove their bayonets 3 foot up a German gut.
You were right to bring this matter to the attention of your minister, Boisdef. Thank you. There are political questions to be considered here, not just military ones.
I don't see how we can avoid it, sir. Esterhazy is the sort of person that would do anything for money.
And did he also have access to the information offered to the Germans?
Yes, he did. He was also in Paris that week. It now appears possible that Dreyfus was not.
Forget Dreyfus. Dreyfus had nothing to do with it. Dreyfus has been tried and found guilty. No, what this latest information tells us is that there were 2 spies on the General Staff. The Dreyfus and the leper Esterhazy. That's your way out, General. Isn't it perfectly plain? Doesn't it fit all the facts? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
2 spies. Unknown to each other. One with a motive, and the other without. Neither the public nor the press will believe this.
They're not going to know anything about it. The minister doesn't want the public's confidence in the army stretched any further. Now, you keep a discreet eye on Esterhazy. Make sure he doesn't try and steal any more of the family silver.
Dreyfus stays where he is?
Of course he stays where he is. Oh, come now, Picard. Can you honestly look into your heart, man, and say you know that he's innocent? More to the point, if you've got any proof of it.
Picard did have one weakness, his love for the wife of another man. And now he took up an even more dangerous one. He wrote a letter.
It is with regret that I must formally set down my fears and reservations over the outcome of this trial, this miscarriage of justice. Something has to be done. Sooner or later, this will all become public knowledge. Already, there is a disgraceful agitation in the gutter press against the sentence itself and the army.
How much better we take the initiative to investigate further rather than wait for it to be forced on us.
Initiative?
I suggest we forge a letter from von Schwarzkoppen to Esterhazy asking for a meeting. If Esterhazy shows up, we've caught our spy.
There are 2 spies.
As Chief of Counterintelligence, General Gans, I must insist. There is no evidence against Dreyfus, and never was.
Dreyfus? What does it matter to you? What does it matter to any of us if one rots on Devil's Island?
He may be innocent.
You're our shining star, Pika. Nobody has a brighter future in the army than you. I have shared your doubts, but perhaps at the end of the day we are wrong. Perhaps Dreyfus is guilty. That's all they're asking us to accept.
Dreyfus is beside the point. Esterhazy must be investigated.
Be reasonable, Picard.
Dreyfus's widow, I'm sorry, his wife, has gone to the press.
Is that what you want? Is it? You want us dragged through the mud?
Leave it to your superiors. No more letters. Your responsibility is to the army.
Your senior officers, sir.
Colonel, we are a republic. When we come to fight the Germans, we'll be at a disadvantage because we can't send men to war for anything as romantic as a king, an emperor, a crown. No sensible man would allow himself to be sent to war for a politician. But there is the flag. He'll fight for that, and the army holds the flag. And I am responsible to tens of millions of French men and women to ensure that nothing is done to destroy the prestige of the army. What would you do, Colonel? What should I do, sitting behind this desk, balancing a possible injustice to one man against the lives of millions? This goes into service next month. The Germans have it too. It fires 600 rounds a minute. It won't wound you, it will saw you in half. From now on, survival on the battlefield will be a matter of statistics, not of individual merit or bravery. The only thing that will keep a man in the firing line will be discipline and the belief that the High Command knows best, that it will never, that it can never make a mistake. Are you prepared to destroy that belief, Colonel?
Men also fight for honor.
It's not honor you're struggling with, Colonel. It's conscience. And conscience is a private thing. When you put on the scarlet and the gold, Colonel, you give up the right to a private conscience. You accept the conscience of the army as expressed in its code of honor, and that takes precedence over any personal code you may have. You're being spoken of, Colonel, as someone who could even occupy this desk one day. What do you say now?
I don't believe that my personal code of honor and the honor of the army are in conflict. I would like to continue the investigation of Esterhazy for the reasons already stated.
Even though you know the risks you're running if the word gets out?
Yes.
Very well, you must do as you think best. But bring me the answers. All of them.
Thank you, sir.
I wanted to have a word with you about Picard. He's been very insubordinate.
He is also very ambitious. A month out of Paris. He'll come round. He's one of us.
Esterhazy is to be arrested.
Yes, sir. Very good, sir. You're ordered to leave Paris. Immediately.
Well, I understand they're sending me on an inspection tour of the eastern defenses.
Lucky you.
To keep me out of the way.
We all believe in you, Picard. Nobody wants to see you destroy your career over this, not even the minister.
Will Esterhazy be arrested?
Until further notice, you have no official connection with the Esterhazy affair.
And Dreyfus?
Damn it, you're well out of this mess, you should be thanking me.
General, are there things I don't know? Can you assure me that I'm wrong? That Dreyfus is guilty? That there is some secret proof that he is, in fact, a German agent?
Dreyfus stays where he is. That is how he can serve his country best. There is more to this than the career of one artillery officer.
For how long? A week? 2 weeks? A month?
I don't know.
Poor you. All those dreary provincial garrison towns. What happened? Did you tread on somebody's toes?
They're amusing.
Picard is returning to Paris today. Is he still agitating about Dreyfus? Yes, yes. Our North African bases are due for reassessment any time now. I was wondering who to dispatch.
No, Picard's a man. It's obvious.
You get his marching orders in the morning.
Then,
Algiers first. Then Tunisia. God knows where else. I'll be seeing rather a lot of our overseas possessions, I'm afraid.
But you've already been away from Paris for weeks. It's too bad you've missed half the season.
I've received my orders. I leave Paris tomorrow morning. I had hoped that I would have a chance to say goodbye to you. Properly.
I can't. We have guests for dinner. I miss you. Thank you. It was lovely. It really was.
Would you be so kind as to play another for our guests? The last piece was wonderful. Thank you.
News from Tunis. Poor old Picard is laid up in hospital. Riding accident.
Oh. Bad luck. Do you think he'd mind if I commandeered his office for a while? It's getting a bit cramped in here.
I'll make it official.
My recent escape from death prompts me to set pen to paper on the conviction that I do not want to die knowing what I know and leaving behind nothing. I address this letter to the President of the Republic, to be given to him only at my specific instruction or upon my death. These are my personal observations on what has become known as the Dreyfus Affair. In the hours following the discovery of a spy on the General Staff, it is possible that a terrible injustice was done. The original injustice was compounded by the refusal to take action when Esterhazy's misconduct came to light. I accept that certain of my fellow officers still sincerely believe Dreyfus to be guilty. Others, I regret, have decided he should be sacrificed in the name of a greater good, the prestige of the army. I believe them, however, to be more concerned with their own prestige and careers.
I see you're settling in. What's that noise?
Marla.
What?
A Viennese Jew. Picard's very fond of him. Says he became a Catholic.
Can a leopard change its spot?
Picard's on his feet again and he wants to come back to Paris.
Does he now? I'm just about to send him to Libya. Things are hotting up there again. Just the place for an ambitious officer.
Whatever you think of him, whatever has got into his head, Colonel Picard is the sort of officer that the French army cannot do without. I will not have him put at risk, skirmishing with native tribesmen. This has gone far enough. Bring him back.
Dreyfus is innocent! Those who are persecutors Dreyfus only maintain the patriotism! They are scoundrels who degrade the name of France! The generators!
Dreyfus sold France! What are we going to do about it?
I sent these to you as my lawyer for safekeeping. I suppose I was afraid I'd only imagined writing them. There's nothing to add.
Shall I just leave them in the safe?
Yes.
I took the liberty of telling someone that you'd be here. Madame Dreyfus. And her attorney, Monsieur Laborie.
I need someone from the military to speak out. Now.
Madam, I am a serving officer. I am under an oath.
You believe that he's innocent.
I cannot tell you that.
But you do. You do believe that.
I cannot answer that question. You had no right to do this. I resent it. I resent it deeply. I will decide my own actions in this matter. It is I who employ you.
The name Esterhazy keeps cropping up. Is counterintelligence investigating him? Can you tell us that? Can you?
I can neither confirm it nor deny it.
Is Esterhazy the spy? Is there a case against him?
Colonel Picard has been ordered to stay silent on these matters. I regret having troubled you all by arranging this meeting.
My husband is a brother officer. Is he not entitled to as much loyalty as the generals? As Esterhazy?
I have done what I can. Perhaps I should not even have done that. I can do nothing more.
Help me right this wrong, Colonel Picard. Tell yourself that is what the honor of the army really requires. Tell yourself that's what loyalty really means. Tell yourself anything. But help me. Help me.
I am not for hire, madam. Excuse me.
Say those papers were to be left by an oversight in this room for 20 minutes. Say that Madame Dreyfus and myself happened to be here and, accidentally, found them. Wouldn't that leave you in the clear, in honor and in conscience?
France will fall the day her army takes instruction in matters of honor and conscience from her lawyers.
Without you, there can be no retrial. He's dying, Colonel.
I almost died in the Libyan desert, madam. My trade is soldiering. So was your husband's.
Colonel Picard, if he weren't Jewish, wouldn't you have done more?
I'm being followed. My mail is being opened.
Welcome back to Paris. You've been placed on indefinite leave. Enjoy it.
I don't know anything but the army. If you take that from me, what am I? Who am I?
I hate them! I hate them for what they're doing to you.
When Dreyfus was arrested, they left him alone with a pistol for 10 minutes.
Sometimes I wish he'd used it on himself.
Esterhazy, Esterhazy, Esterhazy. You're obsessed with him. Is it a grudge? Why have you got it in for him?
Esterhazy is a traitor. That's what I have against him. Petty of me, I know.
No, rubbish. It's nonsense. No. You can hardly be right about Esterhazy and everybody else wrong. It doesn't work that way. It can't be. Can it? No. Oh, all right then.
Look at the trouble you're causing for yourself, for all of us. Now it's official. That ignorant oaf, Henri, has replaced you for good.
Yes, and you are siding with that ignorant oaf, Henri, in protecting Esterhazy.
Any day now, someone is going to come up with the bright idea that you are working for the Germans yourself, trying to destroy the morale of the army, the soldiers' faith in his officers and the high command.
That's right. You see? How could you be right and everybody else wrong?
You know how rumors get around? Picard is in it with Dreyfus. Picard has sold out too. Why else should he be fighting so hard for the Jew traitor? He must be in the pay of the Germans himself.
And how do such rumors get started? Major Henri, perhaps?
You've got to be very careful, Picard. All the military police would need would be one scrap of paper with your name on it. And get this into your head, Colonel. Your fellow officers are determined that the army of the Republic will have the strength and the pride and the confidence in itself to defeat the Germans in the next war, even if it means that a dozen Picards rot on Devil's Island alongside a dozen Dreyfuses.
You can tell.
my brother officers.
That I will not go to my grave knowing that the army has protected a traitor and disgraced an innocent man.
All this for a...
Yes.
Terrible business. Hateful business. How did we get here? Who knows? Hardly seems to matter anymore whether Dreyfus did it or not. You see that? Principle now. Who is to be believed? Us or the muckrakers? Who runs the country? The mob? Shameful, but there you are.
Principle, sir. Exactly which principle are we talking about?
It's all very clear to me now. For a while back there, like you, I didn't know where my duty lay. Counterintelligence works for the real government, the state within the state. Black is white there sometimes, maybe most of the time. The decent thing isn't doable. Your duty is to do what you might otherwise find distasteful. Nose pickings like Major Henri are born knowing that. Men of honor, like you, like me, have to learn it.
General, look at the evidence with me. Argue with me. Show me that I'm wrong.
If Major Henri is the face of the army of the future, then I need somebody with a sense of honor watching the watchers. Do you understand that, Colonel?
I'm sorry, General. The first thing I would do if my leave of absence was lifted would be to ask for an official inquiry into both the Dreyfus and the Esterhazy cases from the very beginning.
I am sorry, Colonel. It is too late now. A few weeks ago, perhaps. But now it is too late. I cannot help you. And you were the best of us.
Well?
He's adamant. I can't change his mind. You try and think of something.
There's another problem. Count Esterhazy. He's been to see me. He knows he's under suspicion. He wants his name cleared. Otherwise, he's quite prepared to make difficulties.
Does he suggest how we can do that?
A public inquiry.
He wants a public inquiry?
As long as he can be assured of the verdict beforehand.
Who would believe that we need Esterhazy now more than he needs us? Esterhazy demands. Esterhazy positively insists. He knows his rights. He demands a public inquiry.
If I understand this rightly, Major Esterhazy, you received a mysterious communication, unsigned, asking you to be on the Alexander Bridge at a specific time. A lady in a veil approached you. She did not reveal her identity, but said she heard Colonel Picard talking in his sleep. He was talking about the Dreyfus affair and about his part in destroying evidence that linked Dreyfus to the case. Then he started raving that you, Major Esterhazy, were his enemy, and that he would do anything to implicate you. Shocked by Picard's duplicity, this loyal Frenchwoman recounted this information in a letter which she handed to you. She disappeared into the crowd. You opened the letter. It confirmed all she said. You gave the letter to your superiors, who gave you this signed and dated receipt for it. Sadly, before a copy could be made, the letter disappeared, alas. No trace of it has come to light, and neither has the veiled lady. Well, that seems clear enough. You may stand down.
Call Colonel Picard.
Now, at last, the truth can be told under oath. You think so? The generals had other ideas.
And I wish to hear Colonel Picard's evidence in camera. Clear the court. This tribunal finds Major Ferdinand Valsin Esterhazy innocent of all charges. Court dismissed.
Now do you see the lunacy of it all? The generals so devoted to France rushed to shake the hand of a man they knew to be a traitor to France. The farce was observed by Émile Zola. 2 days later, he gave his opinion.
Zola accuses you by name and by rank. General Gans, General de Pellieu, General Boisdef, and half a dozen others. First he has you botch the original investigation, then add lie to cover up and to shield Esterhazy.
Libels! Criminal wicked libels!
Gentlemen, you must defend yourselves. Bring an action for libel against him in court.
Drag it into the light of day? Put it all in front of a jury? The damn press?
We have nothing to hide. The people love the army. They trust their generals.
What about Colonel Picard? Zola's bound to call him as a witness.
Zola was delighted to be sued. Was he France's most famous, brilliant novelist, as the public thought? Or a tireless self-promoter, as I thought? Whichever. He did get the story fixed in the public mind once and for all. And now Picard sees the lunacy of it. If the generals could shake hands with a traitor, then he was free of his oath. At least in his own mind.
Captain Dreyfus was sentenced to life imprisonment on the evidence of a single scrap of handwriting, which was as much like the handwriting in that incriminating letter as yours or mine. The panic in counterintelligence that morning was such that had a dog with a pen tied to its tail made any markings on paper, they would have sworn that the dog had written the letter. Provided, of course, that it was an unpopular dog. A dog. A half day's work, and they might have had the traitor then and there. Esterhazy, right under their very noses. Esterhazy, in Paris that week, and in possession of all the relevant information. Esterhazy! They could have had him in jail by lunchtime. And we need not have torn ourselves apart like this.
I shall be brief. I confirm on every point, in every detail, the evidence given by my fellow generals. That is all I have to say on the evidence.
General...
I will not be questioned upon it, but allow me, as a soldier, to tell you all something. You are the jury. You are the nation. If the nation does not have confidence in the chiefs of its army, if the nation does not have confidence in those responsible for national defense in these troubled times, then we are willing to hand over this heavy task You simply have to say the word. That is all I have to say. Except I refute, in the name of the armies of France, every word, every mischief, every lie spoken by the former chief of counterintelligence, the renegade Colonel Picard.
I know Picard tampered with the evidence because I saw him with my own eyes. He's right. Things were added to the Dreyfus file. He should know because he put them there in an effort to throw doubt on the conviction.
You saw me do this. How many times?
At least once. I was passing your office door.
I tampered with the evidence, forgetting that my office door was open.
I recognized his handwriting, Your Honors.
You recognized my handwriting from the open office door?
I am an expert in counterintelligence work. Would I make a mistake about something so important? What I said stands. Picard is lying.
To that I oppose the most categorical denial.
In the name of the French people, the accused, Émile Zola, is guilty. Take him down.
It is the army that is guilty, not I! I am an innocent man! Dreyfus is innocent! The truth is on the man!
Zola spoke the truth and was convicted of libel. Picard spoke the truth and was charged with treason.
I'm afraid the guard broke someone inspecting your things.
No matter. These will do for now.
You'll be tried for espionage, which means a military court. Which means you don't get a chance to put your case to a jury.
Then any jury would acquit me anyway.
That day in my office, you refused Madame Dreyfus. I know part of the reason was her race.
I'm not here for Madame Dreyfus. Or even Dreyfus himself. I refused Madame Dreyfus because I was bound by an oath. When the army dismissed me, I was released from that oath.
You're an army officer to the tips of your boots. Georges, people will wonder where your loyalty's gone.
My loyalty is not to any individual, but to the institution of the army. The idea of the army. Listen. What is it that you hear? 80 men? Overweight, most of them. The brass, drunks, most likely. The lead violinist beats his wife. The flautist has bad gums, and his breath would knock you flat at 20 paces, and the private life of the conductor is a scandal. But that is not what you hear. That is what you hear. The idea. The idea. The spirit.
With Picard safely where he should be, I think we can confidently say, Dreyfus affair, there is no Dreyfus affair.
Well, that's a relief. Oh, yes, lovely. Thank you, Minister.
Gentlemen, I think I should tell you, I have been awarded another department.
Congratulations, Minister.
Thank you, Bellier. However, before I leave this office, the President has asked me to ensure that the public mind is set entirely at rest. Captain Quinier.
Captain Quinier.
Captain Quinier, you will conduct a final and complete investigation into the documentation contained in the Dreyfus file and in the file relating to Major Esterhazy. You will be thorough and impartial, and you will demonstrate once for all that the General Staff and the Minister of War have conducted themselves impeccably throughout this whole business. Thank you.
That Captain Quinier, Minister. Are you satisfied with his credentials?
Rest assured, General. The man's a plodder. Nothing more.
Yes?
Documents have been added to this file.
Well, apart from all the stuff which pertains to the trials, we keep finding new evidence.
Finding it or manufacturing it?
I beg your pardon, Captain.
At least one of the documents is a forgery. Two letters have been joined together, the top half of one added to the lower half of another.
It's not possible.
Look at it.
How dare you speak to the head of counterintelligence like this?
I'm acting under the direct orders of the Minister for War. I demand an answer. Who forged this document? How many other forgeries are there?
Well? I thought you should know, sir. The plodder is ransacking Henri's office.
And Henri is still in bed with his wife, I suppose?
No, sir. He's under arrest.
Telephone the minister for an immediate appointment. This is all getting out of hand. No need to announce me.
But, sir...
I am expected. I really must do something about this plodder of yours, Minister. He's treading on far too many toes.
Good morning, General. As you can see, I have stepped into my predecessor's shoes ahead of schedule. I'm glad you anticipated my need to summon you here. Captain Quinier delivered his report. I'd appreciate your comments.
I deny it. I deny everything.
For pity's sake, it's not even a very good forgery.
It was only one piece of the evidence.
It means retrying Esterhazy, court-martialing you, bringing Dreyfus back. It means that France will go on tearing itself apart while the Germans look on.
You know the pressure we were under? He was covering his tracks. We had to make the case watertight.
We believed you. We believed everything you told us.
No, General Gons. We believed what we wanted to believe.
I have a wife and a little boy, Captain. I have a wife and a little...
Major Henri will know what he has to do. He understands the requirements of honor, I hope. But if he does not, we must help him. I am a victim of and their allies, and I entreat you to tell our son that I deny to my dying breath having forged anything. The letter is genuine. If there is a forged letter in the file, it was put there by Picard and his supporters to discredit the generals and myself. There is a secret file of evidence that cannot be revealed for reasons of national security. Please believe that I am innocent. And that one day the truth will come out and Dreyfus and Picard exposed for the traitors they are.
Fine sentiments, nobly expressed. Now all you have to do is sign off with a flourish. I love you, as I love my country. Pray for me, your devoted husband.
All this talk of love, not too flowery, is it?
No, not at all. Sign it. I have brought you a few creature comforts. There are some excellent Havanas there. There is also a shaving kit, which includes quite naturally a razor, which has a particularly fine edge. I selected it myself. Make us proud of you. Give him 10 minutes, not a second longer, and leave that by the body.
Wake up!
Come on, get up.
Get up this minute! Get up now! Come on, move it! You're wanted. Come on, move yourself!
Prisoner to be transferred to the Chaise Midi and held in military custody until further notice.
I want it on the record that if I'm found dead in my cell, it will be murder and not...
Silence. Take him down. Remanded in military custody.
Make sure they all know I would never take that way out.
Still think the army has a soul? Still hear the music?
Yes, more than ever.
Sometimes, don't you wish you'd never thrown your lot in with Dreyfus?
I had no choice. Somehow I'm tied to him. Oh, I know I'm a level-headed soldier, but still, somehow I'm tied to him. I was his teacher at the military academy. On the morning he was arrested, even before he knew he was to be charged, I happened to be there. I was the last person to speak to him as a free man. I was a witness at his degradation. And of all people, they chose me to finally lay his case to rest.
The irony is, I'd never been able to think of him as anything but a Jew. I never liked him. Isn't that strange?
The circumstances surrounding Major Henri's death compel me, sir, to resign my commission.
When I was a young soldier, I found my commanding officer in a dead drunk one night. 2 of his troopers had been kidnapped by tribesmen. The headman was brought in. It was soon clear that he'd rather die under torture than say where they were. My commanding officer stepped in. Time was running out. He explained to the headman what his honor meant to him as a soldier. He promised him, on his honor, that if the troopers were returned, he'd take no action. They got the men back, and you can guess the rest. They had the headman and his son shot, burned the village down. He had to. That's how it is. Didn't like it, got drunk after, but he'd done the right thing. When it came to honor or duty, duty came first. I will not have the army of the Republic destroyed by Dreyfus. The traitor Zola was right about one thing. There is a conspiracy here between the Jews and socialists. We are fighting now for the life of the state itself. We shall fight on.
In San Francisco, they greeted every arriving boat with "Is Dreyfus free? Is Picard still in prison?" In Australia, in Finland, in St. Petersburg and Lima, fistfights broke out at the very mention of the affair. But at the center of the storm, in prison for 12 months, Picard, they tell me, was at peace.
The original verdict is annulled. Dreyfus is to be shipped back from Devil's Island and retried by court-martial. You are to be freed immediately pending your own trial.
This is the France that gave us the age of reason. Descartes, Lafayette. You didn't know who you were. You weren't alive unless you knew where you stood on the affair. Picard had loved 2 things: the army and Eloise. He'd lost the army already, but Eloise had always been there.
George.
What is it? Are you...
They've told him about us. They want them to kill you. They'll do anything to silence you.
Are you sure you're all right?
George, you can't stay here. You have to leave.
Leave Paris? Now?
They're taking me away tonight. That my things are packed. We can be gone within the hour.
Where? Where would we go?
We could go to Montreux. I have friends, but
Eloise, I want nothing more than...
I have to testify. I'm a soldier. I'm the only one who can speak out and be believed.
George, don't you understand? This is our last chance. We'll never see each other again if we don't go now.
I do love you.
Then you'll come away with me.
I can't.
I'll see you at the station at 4 o'clock.
They moved his trial from Paris. They were afraid Paris couldn't stand the storm. So the storm followed the trial to the city of Rennes.
Name?
Alfred Dreyfus. Alfred Dreyfus, captain of artillery, 39 years old.
This letter was sent to the German military attaché. Did you write it?
I am innocent, my colonel.
Inspector Bertillon.
The conclusion is inescapable. Dreyfus wrote the letter in a handwriting deliberately chosen to look like his own, so that, if caught, he could claim someone had copied his own hand in order to throw the blame on him.
If I understand you, Monsieur Bertillon, you're saying that my client deliberately imitated his own handwriting.
Monsieur le Curé, please.
On this, they want to send Captain Dreyfus back to life imprisonment, in solitary confinement, in irons, chained to a bed 24 hours a day, under constant guard.
Conditions of imprisonment are not the concern of this court-martial. Bring in the next witness.
If there was the slightest doubt in my mind, I'd be the first to tell Captain Dreyfus I was honestly mistaken.
But you know I'm innocent, you know.
If there had been a mistake, I would have done everything to put it right.
It is your duty!
I know what my duty is.
Monsieur Picard?
In the late summer of 1894, Major Count Ferdinand Walsin Esterhazy offered his services as a spy.
Did anyone dare wonder about the journey he had made? He'd been one of them. And now he could explain how they'd each told their first lie for perfectly understandable, patriotic reasons, and then watched as their lies became evil. Evil by men of goodwill in the name of their country. Amusing, isn't it?
So, here we are after all this time. The generals still insist that black is white. And water runs uphill. And in the teeth of the evidence, there are some who still believe them. All I ever wanted, all I ever asked, was that the truth be told. The nation could have been spared all this if those involved had asked themselves the simple question, what is the truth? Not Not what would I like the truth to be? What would my superiors, my colleagues, my country like to hear?
He had infuriated the mob already, but then he had the audacity to hold out his arm to the wife of the Jew.
Acquit.
Acquit.
Convict. Convict.
Convict.
Convict. Convict.
In the name of the French people, by a majority of 5 votes to 2, the accused is guilty. There are, however, extenuating circumstances. Accordingly, the accused is sentenced to deportation and exile from Devil's Island.
They are placing an offer on the table that we will have to take very, very seriously. They are considering a pardon and a general amnesty. It means that he doesn't go back to Devil's Island and that all charges against everyone in the affair will be dropped.
But I will still have the right to sue those who libeled me and drove me from the army.
No.
What about the forgeries?
All charges, Colonel? All.
How can I thank you? Is it really true? I hardly dared.
It is true, Captain.
He won't have to go back.
He will be free. He will be with you.
And he will be stained. If you accept this pardon, you will be virtually admitting your guilt. You have to be willing to prove your innocence, even if it means going back there.
As ever, the Colonel is right. To hell with a pardon. We want to hear not guilty. We want Dreyfus free, and the generals in the dock, and the politicians. I know you're tired. The whole world is tired. It's a shabby compromise. Shall we fight on?
We will accept the pardon. Colonel. Colonel.
A pardon says you did it, and now you ask for mercy. That isn't what I've been fighting for.
I will die there.
You will keep your honor.
It will kill me, Colonel.
Captain Dreyfus, you chose to be a soldier.
He was such an inflexible thing, a man of too much honor. A great man? Well, there was a bit of greatness there. Nobody's perfect.
I hereby name you Knight of the Legion of Honor.
It took 6 more years for the army to relent and reinstate Dreyfus. Picard was there to see it. He had finally forgiven Dreyfus for being human. Picard became the Minister for War. He never had a chance to show his stuff. He died just before the war they'd all been waiting for. You see, a comedy. Would you care for some brandy?
Well, thank you, no.
Get me a glass of brandy, my dear, would you? Your editor mentioned a small fee. What's even odder, there really was no crime committed in the first place. No information actually changed hands. And it was worthless anyway. The Germans knew it all to begin with.
What did Esterhazy think of Picard?
Picard? Picard did what he had to do, just as Esterhazy did. But who could trust a man without any flaws?
But he had flaws. He didn't like...
That's right. He didn't like Now, Esterhazy liked Jews. It was the French he didn't like. Ah, well, there's no doubt that Picard was really the best of them. Only really from the last century.
And can I perhaps say that Esterhazy was the only 20th century man among them?
My dear fellow, the first 20th century man.
Would you mind autographing this book about the Dreyfus affair for me before I leave?
Ah.
Il était une fois un officier, le pauvre Dreyfus, qui de France à l'île du diable fut envoyé. Un prisonnier d'honneur oublié. Jamais, jamais, sous le ciel de Paris, une guerre des plus grands esprits. Un coup de canon, j'accuse, Zola a tiré. Mais pas de justice pour le juif prisonnier. Jamais, jamais. Si tous les généraux sur cheval blanc tournaient en rond comme un manège, on jouera plus à la guerre comme des enfants. Jamais, jamais. Et dans toute cette histoire d'une armée privée de gloire, un homme de conscience, Monsieur Picard, qui ne lâchera pas la vérité. Jamais, jamais. Et si tous les braves soldats sur cheval blanc tournait en rond comme un manège. On jouera plus à la guerre comme des enfants. Jamais, jamais. Et si l'encre dans les plumes est remplacée par des larmes, les mots seraient plus tristes mais plus sincères. Plus de traces sur le papier. Jamais, jamais. Et si nous jouons nos drames dans nos petits univers, dans ce monde si fragile, si éphémère, à quoi ça sert? On sait que rien ne va changer, mais on ne peut pas arrêter. Jamais, jamais. Et si nous jouons nos drames dans nos petits univers, dans ce monde si fragile, si éphémère, à quoi ça sert? On sait que rien ne va changer, mais on ne peut pas arrêter. Jamais, jamais.